The story of Oingo Boingo is as wild and cryptic and fun as any of their songs. The group began in 1972 as a bizarre musical theater and art group founded by Richard Elfman, brother of composer Danny Elfman. Their original name was the Mystic Knights of Oingo Boingo. Taking a mix between Frank Zappa and Cab Calloway, the group made a name for themselves as one of the most eclectic bands in the underground circuit. No official early recordings of this version of the group are known to exist. Richard Elfman decided to change his focus from music to filmmaking and pass his leadership on to his younger brother Danny Elfman. It was under him that the group made their first big splash on a 1976 episode of The Gong Show. That same year they issued a single about Patty Hearst called You Got Your Baby Back, a perfect example of the dark humor and themes the group had become known for. Another big break would come in the film Forbidden Zone in 1980. I could go into detail about the film, but that'd probably take another 12 videos. It's insane. Let's leave it at that. It was directed by Richard and featured the band as its primary cast. The band decided to move away from larger theatrics and focus more on ska, punk, and new wave style that could tour and record. In 1979, the band had its first proper release with the song I'm Afraid, which was featured on L.A.N., a new wave compilation. They also put out an EP that got them signed by IRS Records. They were popular in the Los Angeles area with consistent airplay of their song Only a Lad. In 1981, they released an album of the same name through A&M Records. In 1982 and 1983, they also released Nothing to Fear and Good for Your Soul, respectively. They quickly found an audience with their darkly humorous lyrics and complex musical structures. After some members left, Elfman releasing a solo record and a hiatus in 1984, the band signed with MCA. It was under MCA in 1985 that they would release their most popular record, Dead Man's Party. The album would feature 2 tracks to be featured in films, Dead Man's Party and Back to School, and the theme to the film Weird Science. It was during this time that Danny began scoring films, such as Back to School and Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Obviously, he would find great success in this realm, scoring major motion pictures and TV shows. Throughout the 80s, the band would find success through tours, music videos, and regular radio airplay. Throughout this period, they would expand from new wave into jazz, pop, and rock and roll. They even put out their own version of a live record, which featured no live audience, but the band playing previous material on an empty soundstage. As the band moved forward into the 1990s, their work slowed down as Danny Elfman began to focus more and more on film composing. An album was actually halted in production so he could work on The Nightmare Before Christmas. This album would be released in 1994 with the name Boingo, which was also the band's new name. At this point, only a few original band members remained. There was no longer a horn section for tours, and there was the issue of Danny Elfman's hearing loss. Years of playing live at such a high volume with no protection had caused him significant hearing loss. The writing was on the wall. There wasn't much time left for the Mystic Knights of the Oingo Boingo. The group had decided that if they were going out, it was going to be on their terms. For many years, the band had done annual shows at the Universal Amphitheater on Halloween, and decided that this would be the location of their final performance. After a farewell tour, this show would be recorded for an album and concert film titled Farewell. Even after the group's conclusion, they continue to be discovered by young audiences, and their work is featured in a constant stream of media. 20 years later, Danny Elfman would perform Dead Man's Party at the Nightmare Before Christmas anniversary concert. He has ruled out a reunion, though, citing both his and other band members' hearing issues. But one can dream. Luckily, the group has left a wealth of material for us to enjoy. One only has to take a listen to the final live show to get a sense of the group's high energy and fan appreciation. Even if the group never returns, it was one hell of a Dead Man's Party. Thank you so much for watching. If you have a suggestion of what I should talk about next, please leave it below. Please help support this channel by liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing, and I will see you guys next time.